Maya, can I get you anything else, sir? The kitchen's about to close. Cole, just the check. And maybe some of that pie if you got any left. Maya, we got one slice of peach. It's yours if you want it. Cole, that'll do. Thank you. Maya, you passing through town or staying a while? Cole, passing through. Always passing through. Maya, where you headed? Cole, north. Got some fencing to check on. You know how it is. Maya, fencing. So you work ranches? Cole, something like that. Maya, we get a lot of ranch hands through here. Usually they smell worse. Cole, I'll take that as a compliment. Maya, it was one. Here's your pie. Cole, you work every night? Maya, 6 nights a week. Sundays I sleep till noon and pretend I have a life. Cole, sounds lonely. Maya, sounds honest. Most people lie about being lonely. I stopped doing that. Cole, that's rare. Maya, what is? Cole, someone who just says what's true without making it sound like a complaint. Maya, I've been doing this job for 3 years. You learn fast that nobody wants to hear you complain. They just want their coffee hot and their check quick. Cole, what did you do before this? Maya, taught school. 2nd grade. Then the district had budget cuts and I was the last one hired, so I was the first one gone. Cole, that's a hard thing. Maya, it was. I cried for about 2 weeks and then I got up and got on with it. You want more coffee? Cole, please. Maya, you always this quiet? Cole, I'm talking to you, aren't I? Maya, you're answering me. That's different from talking. Cole, fair enough. What do you want to know? Maya, where you're really from. You don't sound like a ranch hand. Cole, what do ranch hands sound like? Maya, not like you. You're careful with your words. Like someone who learned a long time ago that the wrong thing said out loud can't be taken back. Cole, you're perceptive. Maya, I told you. 3 years of this. You read people or you go crazy. Cole, I grew up in Texas. West Texas. Small town you've never heard of. Maya, try me. Cole, Marfa. Maya, I've heard of Marfa. The lights in the desert. My grandmother used to talk about that place like it was haunted. Cole, it is. Everything out there is. The land gets inside you and then you can't shake it no matter how far you go. Maya, is that why you're always passing through? Trying to shake something? Cole, maybe. Or maybe I just haven't found a reason to stop. Maya, what would a reason look like? Cole, I don't know anymore. Used to think I did. Maya, what happened? Cole, my wife died. 4 years ago. She was the reason I'd stop anywhere. Maya, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Cole, no, it's all right. You didn't do anything wrong by asking. Maya, still. That's not something you just get over. Cole, no, you don't. You just get used to the shape of it. The way it sits in your chest. After a while it doesn't surprise you anymore. It just rides along. Maya, that's a really hard way to live. Cole, it's the only way I know right now. Maya, how long have you been riding along like that? Cole, long enough that I forgot what it felt like before. Maya, do you want to remember? Cole, that's a hell of a question for a Tuesday night. Maya, I work Tuesdays. I ask hell of a questions. That's just how it goes. Cole, yeah. I think I do. Want to remember. I just don't know if I'm brave enough to let anything back in. Maya, you drove into a small town in the middle of nowhere, sat down at a diner counter at 9:30 at night, and started talking to a stranger. That sounds pretty brave to me. Cole, or desperate. Maya, sometimes those are the same thing. Cole, what's your name? Maya. Maya. What's yours? Cole. Cole. Maya. Cole. That sounds like a name from a western. Cole, my mother loved westerns. John Wayne, Gary Cooper, all of it. She wanted a cowboy for a son. Maya, did she get one? Cole, she got something close enough. Are you from here originally? Maya, born and raised. Left for college, came back when my mom got sick, and then just never left again. Life has a way of deciding things for you. Cole, it does. You have people here? Family. Maya, My mom passed 2 years ago. I've got a sister in Phoenix who calls on birthdays and holidays. And I've got Mrs. Calloway at table 7 who comes in every Thursday and tells me about her garden like I'm genuinely invested in her tomatoes. Cole, are you? Maya, honestly? A little bit. Last week her heirloom variety finally came in and I was genuinely happy for her. What does that say about me? Cole, that you're someone who shows up. Even when it's for other people's tomatoes. Maya, that's either beautiful or pathetic. Cole, definitely the first one. Maya, you're not what I expected when you walked in. Cole, what did you expect? Maya, dust on your boots. Quick meal. Gone in 20 minutes. The usual drifter. Cole, the boots of dust. I'll give you that. Maya, the rest of it didn't hold up. Cole, no. I guess it didn't. This pie is incredible, by the way. Maya, Ruth Ann makes it. She's been baking pies for this diner for 19 years. Every peach is from the orchard 2 miles up the road. Cole, you know everything about this place. Maya, it's my world. You know everything about yours too, I'd bet. Cole, what makes you say that? Maya, the way you sit. Like you own the ground under you. Even when you're just passing through. Cole, I own a few things. More than I probably let on. Maya, I figured. The truck outside is too clean for a man who's just scraping by. Cole, you notice that. Maya, I notice everything. Occupational habit. Cole, what else did you notice? Maya, that you haven't checked your phone once since you sat down. Either you don't care about being reached or nobody's trying to reach you. And a man with nothing doesn't sit that still. Cole, which do you think it is? Maya, both. You could be reached if you wanted. You just turned it off. Cole, you're not wrong. Maya, how much land do you actually have? Cole, enough. Maya, that's not an answer. Cole, it's the honest one. After a certain point, the acres stop meaning anything. They're just something to maintain. Maya, most people would say something like that's the dream. Cole, most people haven't lived it alone. Empty is empty no matter how many miles it goes. Maya, so why keep it? Cole, because my family built it. 3 generations of people who believed in something enough to bleed for it. You don't sell that. Maya, no. You don't. Cole, do you ever think about leaving here again? Maya, every single day. And then I bring Ruth Ann her coffee and she tells me good morning and I think, well, maybe not today. Cole, that's a good answer. Maya, it's the true one. We are closing in about 15 minutes. Just so you know. Cole, I'll get out of your way. Maya, you're not in my way. I just didn't want you to be surprised. Cole, I'll be back through here. In about 2 weeks, headed south again. Maya, I'll be here. 6 nights a week. Cole, I'll come on a Tuesday. Maya, I ask the hard questions on Tuesdays. Cole, I'm counting on it. Maya, you came back. Cole, I said I would. Maya, most people say that. Cole, I'm not most people. Maya, no. I'm starting to figure that out. Same seat and everything. Cole, it felt right the first time. Maya, peach pie's gone. Ruth Ann made apple this week. Cole, apple works. Maya, coffee first? Cole, please. Maya, you look tired. Cole, long 2 weeks. Maya, the fencing up north? Cole, among other things. Had to deal with some lawyers. Title disputes on the eastern boundary. Takes it out of you. Maya, title disputes sound expensive. Cole, everything about land is expensive. That's the part nobody tells you when you're young and romanticizing it. Maya, what do they tell you instead? Cole, that it's legacy. That it matters. That your grandfather's hands are in that soil and you owe it something. Maya, and is that true? Cole, yeah. It's true. It's just also expensive and exhausting and lonely as hell and nobody puts that part on a postcard. Maya, how many acres are we actually talking about? Cole, why does that matter? Maya, it doesn't. I'm just curious who I'm talking to. Cole, you're talking to a man who needs coffee and apple pie and maybe 20 minutes when nobody needs anything from him. Maya, that I can do. Here's your coffee. Cole, thank you. Maya, the lawyers give you a hard time? Cole, they always do. That's what they're paid for. Other side's been trying to chip away at the Eastern line for 6 years. Every time I think it's settled, they find a new angle. Maya, why do they want it? Cole, water rights. There's a creek that runs through that corner. Out here water's worth more than the dirt it runs through. Maya, I didn't know that about you. That you were dealing with something like that. Cole, most people don't know most things about me. I got used to that. Maya, is that by choice? Cole, partly. After Sarah died, I just stopped explaining myself. Felt like too much energy for not enough return. Maya, Sarah was her name. Cole, yeah. Maya, you don't have to talk about her if you don't want to. Cole, I know. That's actually why I don't mind. Nobody ever says that. They either push or they go quiet like she was something shameful. Maya, she wasn't shameful. She was your person. Cole, she was. 15 years. We met when I was 22 and I was with her every day until I wasn't, and I still haven't figured out how to organize a morning without her in it. Maya, what do you mean? Cole, she made coffee. Every single morning. I'd come in from the early check and it was always ready. For years later, I still walk into the kitchen and feel something drop in my stomach before I remember. Maya, that's the kind of thing that doesn't go away. Cole, no. You just learn to step around it. Like a floorboard you know is loose. Maya, were you happy? Before. Cole, we were. Not the loud kind of happy. The quiet kind. Where you just fit inside a life and it fits back. Maya, that's the best kind. Cole, I didn't know that when I had it. I thought everyone had that. Turns out most people are working real hard just to get close to it. Maya, what was she like? Cole, stubborn. Funny in a dry way where you didn't always catch it right away. She grew tomatoes in the summer and canned everything herself and refused to buy anything from a store that she could make at home. She'd have liked Mrs. Calloway. Maya, Mrs. Calloway came in Thursday. The Roma tomatoes did not cooperate this year and she's taking it personally. Cole, Sarah would have had opinions about that. Soil pH. Too much water too fast. Maya, you remember that stuff? Cole, 15 years. You absorb things whether you plan to or not. Maya, my mom was like that. After she passed, I kept finding myself knowing things she knew. How to get a stain out of cotton. What to do when basil goes bitter. Like she left pieces of herself in me without asking. Cole, that's a good way to put it. Maya, I thought it would feel like losing her over and over. Turned out it felt more like company. Cole, I'm going to think about that for a while. Maya, take your time. How's the pie? Cole, better than the peach. Maya, don't let Ruthan hear you say that. The peach is her pride. Cole, I'll keep it between us. Maya, smart man. So what happens if you lose the boundary dispute? Cole, I won't. Maya, but if you did. Cole, then someone gets water rights to land my great-grandmother homesteaded in 1911 and I have to live with that. I won't though. Maya, you sound sure. Cole, I've got a good lawyer and a better case and I've been fighting this particular battle long enough that losing isn't something I'm willing to make room for. Maya, I believe you. Cole, you say that like it surprises you. Maya, not surprises. Just that some people say things like that and you can tell it's bravado. With you it just sounds like fact. Cole, my father used to say don't announce what you're going to do. Just do it and let that be the announcement. Maya, your father sounds like he was something. Cole, he was. Hard man. Fair. Not real warm, but you always knew where you stood and that was its own kind of love, I think. Maya, did you tell him that? Cole, not in those words. I think he knew. Maya, people always think that. That the other person knows. Cole, you didn't tell your mom something. Maya, I didn't tell her I was proud of her. She raised 2 girls alone after my dad left and she never once made it feel like a burden. I watched her work 2 jobs and never complain and I just thought she knew I saw that. I should have said it. Cole, maybe she did know. Maya, maybe. I just feel better if I'd said it out loud. Cole, yeah. I understand that. Maya, we are a real cheerful pair, aren't we? Cole, I don't know. I feel all right now. Maya, me too actually. Which is strange for a Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Cole, why strange? Maya, because usually by now I just want my shoes off and the TV on and I'm done with people for the day. No offense. Cole, none taken. So what's different tonight? Maya, I don't know. You don't take anything from me. Most people who sit at this counter, there's something they need. Attention or sympathy or just someone to absorb whatever they're carrying. You just sit here and talk to me like I'm a person. Cole, you are a person. Maya, you'd be amazed how rare it feels. Cole, that shouldn't be rare. Maya, but it is. So when it shows up you notice it. Cole, I notice you. Maya, Cole, I'm not saying it to make things complicated. I just mean I came back because I wanted to sit here again. With you. Not the pie. Maya, the pie is very good though. Cole, it really is. But no. Maya, I don't know what to do with that. Cole, you don't have to do anything with it. I'm not asking for anything tonight. Maya, what are you asking for? Cole, to know if you'd want to have dinner sometime. Not here. Somewhere you're not working. Maya, I'd have to think about that. Cole, that's fair. Maya, it's not a no. Cole, I heard that part. Maya, good. We close in 10 minutes. Cole, I'll finish up. Maya, you don't have to rush. Cole, I know. I just don't want to make things hard for you at the end of your night. Maya, that's a considerate thing to say. Cole, I'm working on being considerate. I got out of practice. Maya, you're doing fine. Cole, same time in 2 weeks? Maya, I'll be here. Cole, I'll come on a Tuesday. Maya, you keep saying that. Cole, I keep meaning it.